All rise to the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez, absent. Councilman Cullen.
Here.
Councilwoman Eckhart. Here. Councilwoman Huda. Here. Supervisor Head.
Here. Notations of exits in the front and the rear. Any electronic device, please put it on vibrate or shut it off. Make a motion to waive the reading of the public hearing notice and open the public hearing for Druville Mobile Mart for a special permit.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So I guess you're from Mobile Mart,
Yes, sir.
okay? And then after this gentleman makes a quick presentation, anyone who would like to comment on the issue can come up and speak to the issue.
If I may, I'd like to
Yes,
just
sir.
pass this out to the members.
Waive the rules, accept the additional.
Yes.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
And do you want extra copy of the town?
Yes, I will.
I'll give it to you.
Additional one?
Yes, please. And you know what, maybe that one, since you got it for.
Right, wait,
Board
you
member.
just make, I can make a copy. Do you
I
need
know,
it?
no, okay, it's coming. Okay, sir, just come up to the mic if you would. Now, the mic is really not working, so it's kind of artificial. Our
I don't
sound
think-
system is kind of defunct, so speak a little bit louder than normal.
Fine. Mr. Supervisor, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Ed Lodi, architect, and I represent Druville Mobile Mart. As you all know, that gasoline dispensing facility, because they're not service stations anymore, I guess, has been renovated and has turned from, what I understand, a problem into a very nice facility, very nicely operated. The owner, Mike Quitter, asked me to represent him here specifically in connection with a restriction that was placed on this property at the time the site plan was approved. That restriction calls for the operation to go only from 5 in the morning till 11 at night. He also told me that he agreed to this at the time because apparently there were problems with the property when it was not occupied. And of course, unoccupied properties always do invite the unsavory and can cause problems. I've spoken to the supervisor regarding this. He told me what to do. He said, Ed, you need to go to the planning board and have them review this request, which we have done. The planning board has subsequently looked at this, and he's referred it to the town board. They're taking no sides. The letter you have in front of you, I've sent to the supervisor some time back, and if you don't mind, I'd just like to follow it and give my reasons why I believe it would be fair to lift the restrictions that were placed on, actually, I should say, one restriction. As I said earlier, it was placed there because the idea was to discourage loitering and so on. I believe, and I think you would all agree, that this concern has not materialized. There has been no problems to our knowledge, and we've checked with the building inspector, we've checked with the DOT, who checked police records. There are really, or have been, no real incidents of any concern over the years, at least 3 that the facility's been in operation. I happen to have met Mike Quater, the owner, when he was only about 20 years old because of my town in LaGrange and Dutchess. He worked at the gas station that I used to be frequent, and he was a hardworking, diligent, trustworthy young fella. And I said to him one day, Mike, when you grow up, what are you going to do? He says, I'd like to own my own gas station. And I said, well, you put that up here, put it up here good, and you will. And he does own several now, and they're all as clean and neat as this one. The station has actually received an award from the Brewster Carmel Garden Club. I don't know if you know, but you might know that Mike actually has hired a fellow who is retarded, or now they would say he's challenged. But this fellow loves flowers, and he loves to paint the little stones, and he keeps the place really nice. The customers like him, and they like what he does. The other gas stations around here, I'm told, also operate around the clock. He would simply like to have that same opportunity. He has regular customers who like the place to be open. Nowadays, people don't work from 9 to 5. I mean, we get people working all night, all day. They go from here to New York City and back. They would prefer, some of them, that it was open all the way around so they could buy their gas when, at the time it presently is closed. The other day, I was at the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the chairman and many of the members had very, very nice things to say about the way this facility looks and the way it's being operated. And so therefore, I respectfully request that you lift this restriction which was placed on this operation at a time when I'm sure you all felt it was necessary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone from the public? Yes, sir?
Hi, my name's Larry Tracy, 1030 Drewville Road, just a quarter-mile down from the station. They run a fantastic business, but my concern is garbage. I'm 300 yards away, and since they opened, it has increased. So now I'm thinking it's from 5 to 11. Now I'm going to have it 24 hours a day. I'm also a little concerned about security. I know there's been in Brewster a few late-night robberies at gas stations and marts, whatever's open. That just brings people, gives them an opportunity to come and do that, being late at night, being open. And third, I kind of feel that it's just a late night beer run. I don't see anybody running out of gas along Drewville Road, and just going to make work for the ambulances and the EMTs along that S Road. You know, it's dangerous.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Lord. I live on Drewville Road, about a mile away. I don't favor the 24 hours being granted to the mobile or to the gas station. I don't think that there are other gas stations situated this close to residential communities in Brewster that are operate 24 hours. And I think the restrictions, the time restrictions that were placed on this property were at a time that they were seeking a lot of different variances for that property. And I think the town board and the planning board okayed those different variances, but they placed this restriction. And I don't think it was just because of fear of loitering. I thought there were other considerations. In any case, I don't favor the 24 hours and 24 hours opening for those reasons. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lodi, thank you.
Mr. Lord, just do us a favor. Would you mind closing that door for us if you don't mind? Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, and I know I've been watching this every step of the way. I went to all the public hearings, and from the inception of this, we were all very happy that an abandoned gas station, well, we were hoping not for a gas station, but we were very happy it was going to be improved, and he really has improved it. Whether you like the gardening or not, it's well taken care of. Do you know the gas station was supposed to comply with ARB landscaping recommendations? Do you know if they've done that yet?
As you know, because I believe you were there when I was making my presentation, Mike, the owner, has confessed to me, because I said to him, how come we're back here trying to get this straightened out with these plants? And he's a busy guy. He didn't make excuses. He says, my landscaper said, let me do this way, it's going to be real nice. It turned out, and I spent a bit of time trying to figure out what was approved and what he did and what we could do to make it good. We presented that to first the planning board and then the ARB, and it was agreed that, because his whole $65,000 bond was being withheld, they agreed to drop that down to about $3,500, that everything was okay, but he would have to change some plans. And he's in the process of having that changed, and when those plans get changed, they will release the rest of the bond. Now, frankly, it's in the eyes of the beholder man as to who likes what kind of a plant. Mike is willing to do whatever anybody wants. But right now, we have been okayed by the ARB to do certain plantings. I'm not prepared to tell you exactly how.
Well, I can tell you it was more evergreens. This was a few months ago. Springtime's a great time for planting.
Yes.
So it is disappointing that the owner hasn't complied with that. I see there's some signage problems when I drive by. Something that's supposed to be a window on the side is now a sign. It can be taken down easily, but nevertheless, it is a sign. Also, I attended all those meetings. I didn't know it was 5 to 11. I thought it was 6 to 10, but let's assume it is 5 to 11. I don't recall that loitering was the main issue. The main issue is that this gas station backs up to an old Victorian home and many others in the neighborhood. It wasn't loitering, it was a security thing. It was people just making a beer run, and it was, yes, to a degree loitering, but the reason loitering might not happen now is because it's 11 o'clock. Once it's open at 2 or 3 in the morning, who's to say that's not gonna happen then? And I think we should also be mindful that there have been a couple of letters received on this. So there was very good reason that this was limited, and it is because it's in an unusual location. And I, for one, feel very strongly that it isn't necessary to go to 24 hours. I also think you need to comply, especially because the planting season is now. The IARB, they made minor recommendations nevertheless, and they were very fair recommendations. All of that should have been done by now. Thank you.
I'm going to, my recollection, and I'm going to concur with Lynn, was that I don't recall the loitering as much as it was, it's in a residential area. And in terms of your application as far as late night runs for, to get gasoline or to be in that area is to me probably not something I would see. I do know now we have on Route, at the intersection of Route 6 and 312, there's a 24-hour deli there. So that would be helpful for people if they need to go somewhere for a last minute, we'll call it a gallon of milk or something akin to that. But my recollection is similar to Lynn's, where it was not so much loitering, but it's in a residential area.
I would also note that the owners of Cameron's did speak in front of the planning board. Their concern was when they went into business, they assumed that they wouldn't necessarily, they had looked into hours surrounding them, and they were hopeful that they would be the only people that had the 24-hour. And so they went and made that clear at a planning board meeting. So I do think this is based on a lot more. And also, if people really need gas, and granted they want to go to this station, they like this station, I understand customer loyalty, it's a wonderful thing. But you can in a pinch go right up to the village, and there are 24-hour gas stations there. It has to be less than a mile away. So I don't think I don't believe we'd be depriving people of getting gas really close by. So I'd like some time to, I know we won't vote on this tonight, which is a good thing, but I'd like some time to research what the hours really were. I'm happy to look through the file.
And I would urge the owners to comply to the greatest extent possible with what they've already agreed to, because, I mean, it's important. It's important to us as a town board that people comply with the rules and regulations, because that's why they're there.
Okay, personally, I've been out of the beer business since 2007. At one point in time, there was a restriction on the sale of beer from, I believe it was like 3 a.m. till 8 a.m. Do you know if that restriction is still in place by New York State?
No, I don't know, sir.
Yeah, I think it would, yeah. You can't buy alcohol after
From
3
3 a.m. to 8 a.m.
And probably later on some days.
Even though I sold beer myself, I went to the place to buy something to bring to a gathering that day. I couldn't buy it, and I owned the store, but I didn't open till 9 o'clock. I didn't know you couldn't buy it before 8 o'clock. So if that's still part of it, then it's not, as far as beer run, it would have to take place prior to 3 a.m. But again, I don't know that, and that's something I will have to check and see if that
But
exists.
other gas stations
They can't
that
sell
are
beer.
open,
Yeah,
they
they're open,
have
but
the
they
same
can't
rules,
sell
right?
beer. They can sell milk, bread, whatever. But again, that was a previous restriction. I don't know if that exists now. And just 2 quick comments, a letter, any kind of conversation or emails that you sent to us and to the town, I share with my colleagues, so everyone sees everyone else's mail, whether it's just myself. And I don't believe I ever called you Ed, because I don't know you well enough. I ever called you Mr. Lodi.
And I'll call you Mr. Supervisor.
No, I don't do that. You call me Tony, but I would have called you Mr. Lodi.
Feel,
Just for the record.
feel free to call me Ed, though.
Okay,
If I may say a few more things.
sure.
I'm listening carefully to everybody's concerns, and both my client and I are not interested in doing something that's not in the interest of the town or in some of the people who spoke out. This gentleman brought up the case of garbage. Every time I've been there, it's clean, but I will.
No. The store is perfect. It's in front of my house. I mean, it just has increased. I just have to pick up so much stuff in front of my house because I'm right down the road. No, the place is run beautifully,
Okay, no, because I
It's
thought.
just that the more they're open, I just feel the more that's gonna increase, and I just spend every day cleaning up in front of the house and along the road.
Do you feel that's due to the fact that they're...
It's not the only place that it's people throwing stuff out, they're not the only place people buy things, but, when you see cigarette packs that just got opened or emptied, and it's just constant. And
Now, listen.
it's increased, since they've been there, that's all. I
A
can tell, and I
nuisance,
just
you
think
know.
it's gonna increase as the hours extend. So.
I get some of that in front of my house, I don't like it. I
No, I
understand what you're saying. You did mention safety. If I may, I would think that if there are people in attendance there, and the type of people who run that place, and the owner, who's concerned about making things right all the time, I think there's a better chance of not having things go wrong if it's open all the way around. Also, I would like to say that nobody in his right mind will want to open for a whole other shift just to sell a few cases of beer. I'm not saying that somebody wouldn't make a beer run, probably do all kinds of things at that time. I think he's doing this because he's had requests from his customers. I think mostly the ones who purchase the gas. I will make it very clear to him that he should move a little faster on the landscaping, man. I think you're 100% right on that. What I'd like to ask, being that the full board isn't present, if this vote can be deferred.
It was, sir, would not be voted on tonight. It won't take place until our next meeting, which is going to be July 9th.
July 9th.
A resolution will be prepared, and it will either pass or fail at that point in time.
And I think there were also concerns too, just so you know, about lighting, all-night lighting, so, because again, residential neighborhood.
If you could help me, I've spent a bit of time driving around in the area, and there are no houses in the area. There is a house directly up the hill. There's nobody in that house.
Well, the house is behind, Drewville Road is considered a neighborhood.
Well, I understand that, and it's a beautiful neighborhood. I've
Yes.
driven all the way through there, and it's very nice, but this is clearly a separate zone that permits these kinds of operations. I don't think it's in the face of those houses, ma'am. I mean, you've got to go down a ways to get into that beautiful private area.
Well, it was it was the basis of the limited hours in the beginning. And I think a lot of people spoke up then, and that's what they wanted then, and we've heard people who still want it this way. So, I mean, I will research the file, and if you have any questions, you can always feel free to call me
Okay.
or email me.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, work session portion. Make a motion to go into that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a discussion for an IMA with the Brewster Central School District on an emergency shelter plan. As you know, right after Hurricane Sandy, the United Cerebral Palsy stepped forward and allowed us to use their building. It worked out quite well. However, if something more severe were to happen in Sandy, where we would be stuck not having facilities, they provide shower facilities, I think they can occupy probably 30 people there comfortably. And if something more traffic were to happen, we had something more like 50 or 60 people. We've had an intermunicipal agreement that was Lynn and Lori Bell worked on this as well. And what you have tonight, you had an opportunity to read it, is what would take place if that were to happen. I did make suggestions to it. They were revised accordingly. I'm not sure if the Brewster Central School District has reviewed this. So we've all had an opportunity to read it. If you want to make changes, and what we'll do then, we'll forward this to them, if it's okay with the board, the members here this evening, and say, this is what we come up with, find out if they have any other recommendations prior to a vote on it. So when we have the complete file
Yes.
approved by the, say this is what it is, they want to change a word, change something here or there. The town attorney and I reviewed it as well, and at this point in time, it's what it is. Does anyone want to add anything to it before we send it to schools or tell them that this is the version that we found acceptable thus far?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, we are still gonna use,
Yes.
Hudson Valley
Yeah,
primary.
this here is for a really a major catastrophe. Like I said, UCP could probably provide us with probably at least 30 people. Okay, we'll still distribute ice there. This is more for something more long range. Of course, they have a gymnasium, the county can supply cots and whatever. It'd be a major area of staging in case of a disaster.
Yeah, when Lori and I met with the school, and I'd like to thank Lori, she's not here tonight, but she really did all the heavy lifting. But what we really, I felt needed was a backup plan, a plan B, if there was really a catastrophic event. And I thought the schools, which everyone pays into anyhow, it was the ideal location. The schools were willing to work, because as they said, no one wants to leave their home to go sleep in a gymnasium. This is really for something major. So the schools have been good to work with, and I hope we can get this done in time for the bad, hopefully not bad hurricane season this year. So.
Now, we don't have a formal
No.
agreement with Hudson Valley UCP.
No, we don't.
We should probably maybe do that too,
What do you do?
just to protect them.
They've always been so gracious.
Right.
It's
But
amazing.
just, you know.
Yeah,
This-
no,
This is their rules and regulations.
you know, that's not-
It's a blank page, just say that.
No, I know, but I mean, they've been great, and,
Yeah.
but I'm just, I'm just wondering if we should have one too.
And I hope we never have to use it.
And
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Okay, well, I guess we'll work on something for them as well?
Sure.
Okay. We'll work on that one. Okay, so, any change to it? I'll send this out on Monday to
Can I just
them.
ask one thing? Where on number 14, where you have, the town shall be responsible for purchasing and maintaining comprehensive general liability and such other insurance in an amount not less than $1 million and $5 million in the aggregate. Do we really,
Yes.
we already have that?
Yes, we do.
We do, we have that in our general liability policy.
So what we would just add them as an additional
They already
insurance?
are on our policy. This is in there, but we already do that with our different
Okay, good.
programs we have at the school already.
Fine, so it's just, okay,
Yeah, it's in there, but we already provide it with our other programs we have at the school.
right. Okay.
Okay, so I'll send that out on Monday. I hope we get their input, and once I have their input, we'll put it on the agenda for approval, or,
yeah, I'd love to get this
well, actual
passed.
approval would include whatever changes they basically recommend. Unless they're.
So they didn't see this copy yet.
I
I
don't
think
know
they
if
have
did.
seen it,
They might have,
but-
but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I couldn't get a hold of anyone to find out if they have, because they had been changed. Again, Lynn and Lori went there on at least 2 to 3 occasions to check this out, and I'm not sure if they saw it.
Let's get it done as soon as
Yep.
possible.
Okay?
Thanks.
Okay. Make a motion to go into the regular portion of the meeting.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Waive the reading of the correspondence. Approval of the voucher list for $362,917.63. So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Don't forget to have her sign it.
I did.
You did, thank you. Okay, setting in the meeting dates, public hearings, all meetings be held on 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 PM unless otherwise noted. Thursday, July 9, 2015, and Thursday, July 23, 2015. As you all know, these are all posted on the town's website. Once in a blue moon, we don't have enough items, we always identify 2 meetings each month during the year. Sometimes they may be canceled, and just look at, right now, this is what we're gonna identify. If we get 2 or less items for a meeting, if it's a public hearing, we would definitely have to have the meeting. But if not, there's a chance we may not, especially during the summertime, if there's not much participation. So I'll just put that on note, check it beforehand, post it on the webpage, but right now, these are the 2 dates that we so approved. I move.
I second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 4 is the budget transfers. I move.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, resolution, modify Wells Park lease with the Village of Brewster. Mr. Shoney, Mr. Bosnott, would you mind coming up to the front, please?
It was the best run through of my last name so far.
Well, I kind of,
You almost nailed it. It was really,
that was just pure
It's really
luck.
good.
Trust me.
everybody just called me Tom.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Mr. Boyce.
Oh, very good.
Okay,
Okay, I think if it's all right with you, what we'll do is we'll start with the packet that Tom just gave you and go through that, and then we'll get into the building part after that. Okay.
It's not working.
Yeah, you just have to talk loud.
All right. Well, thanks for inviting us tonight. I'm going to tell you a little bit about all the wonderful things that are going on in Wells Park. The first page of your packet is our map and our basic plan. The center section of the park is what we're calling the Great Lawn. It was the old swimming area. It's now been, it's the lake area. It's been graded and repaired, and right now we're at the point we've just basically compacted it, and we're almost to the point where we're going to be hydro seeding the area. It's going to be a tremendous, beautiful lawn area that everybody can come out and we can have events there, and it's really going to be the centerpiece of Wells Park. On the northwest side of the park, you can see that we are going to build what we like to call our amphitheater. That's where we're going to be having movies in the park. You've heard on our web pages. We're going to have movie nights probably a few times. We have 4 sponsors so far, so our goal is to have 4 movie nights before it gets too cold this year. We just got a donation of all the pavers, a substantial donation to build the amphitheater, so we're very excited about that, and it's at no cost to the village. On the other side of the park, we'll call it the east side, you can see there's a large stage area. We're going to be building a large stage down the road. This is an area that we will be having a theater in the park. We'll also be having concerts, again in the warm weather, and it's really, really quite exciting, and you're all invited.
now, is that,
And you're all invited.
looking at this here, is it the right-hand side, is that?
It's the right-hand side. I'm sorry it's so small, but yeah.
By where the tennis courts are.
Just above the tennis courts. Okay, the amphitheater is on the left side, you can kind of see the 2 rows. On the right side is the stage area. Also, behind the stage area, you can actually see the connection to the rail trail. So Wells Park has a cut-in, and Wells Park will be connected to the rail trail, and it's going to make for great events because we're going to have people biking to Brewster. So we're all very, very excited about that. The whole park has been designed to be handicap accessible. Okay, so if you look at above the amphitheater area, there's a road that's going to be extended, so if you have any disabilities where you can't make it up there by yourself, you can actually be driven up to the top area. And you can watch our movies. There's 2 play areas up there as it is, and we're working on really, and that's where the pavilion is also up there. So on movie nights, if you have a handicap, you can actually be underneath the pavilion if you choose to, and also watch our movies. So it's quite exciting.
Now, the pavilion, what is the pavilion?
Up by where Building 5 is?
It's, you can see it
Where it is?
I have glasses, I can't see it well. So
Yeah, well, the pavilion is there. What we did was overlay the plans over an aerial
Is it
view of the
here?
park. I can come over and point
This
to
one?
it.
on. It's over here.
Where?
Here.
It's really,
Isn't it here?
that's it.
Jim, do you have a large set of plans you can send to us eventually?
What's that?
Do you have a large set of plans you can send to us eventually?
We could probably blow something up, but
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what it is right here?
That's the pavilion. Well, that, as I pointed to, the larger building off to the left, it's the biggest roof. The other three buildings are the
That's
trails.
to be constructed.
It's there.
No, it's there.
upstairs.
Oh, that's
It's
way
the-
up, that's way up.
Yeah.
top.
Ah, all
Is that
right.
what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you actually, you know what, maybe you can turn the page. Just turn to the next page. You can see the yellow trailer. Behind it to the left,
Yeah.
that's the
Brown
pavilion.
roof.
Brown roof. Okay.
And that's behind the seating then.
That's behind the seating area where we're going to be doing movies.
I see it better now.
Okay. As I said, the whole park will be handicapped accessible. There are 4 new parking spots in the park for the handicap. There will also be turnaround areas, so if we have any type of emergencies, emergency vehicles can get into the park and help us out with larger events. The parking area, as you enter the park, has been cleaned, all the brush has been cut and pushed back and reseeded, and we're also hoping to expand the entrance of the park, make it so 2 cars, a car can enter and exit at the same time. Right now, it's only 1 car that can enter at a time, and it's a bad turn, so we need to improve the entrance of the park. Eventually, we would like to remove the old fence that kind of makes the park look like it's a prison. And we would like to move put a new fence in about 20 feet in, so you can actually pull in and open the fence without really worrying about getting into the park.
Now, again, we're looking at this as a preliminary. Prior to doing that at any point in time, you would just have to notify the town that you're willing to move forward and get it signed off by town based on the lease.
This is basically saying that we want to move ahead with all that you're seeing right in front of you right now.
Well-
It's our plan to do this.
So you have the design of the fencing, you have,
No.
Not yet.
You want to approve the design of the fence?
no, not the design, we want to see what's being proposed. You're saying to remove the fencing, is all the fencing being removed? So it doesn't look like a
No,
prison?
just in the entrance area of the park. There's a rolling fence that's broken, and it,
Now, there's one at the very beginning of the property,
right, as you
That's-
and
mentioned.
then there's the second one was further in. So which one are we speaking of,
The
both?
front one.
The front
The
one,
very first one,
yes.
okay,
The second one has to be repaired because it's just in shambles.
yeah.
So that'll probably have to be replaced.
One of the other things that we had to do, I don't know who was doing the maintenance in the park before we got there, but there's drainage areas that travel around the outer circumference of the fence up on the top. Whoever was cutting grass and mowing was throwing all the debris into these drainage areas, and they cause the whole upper area to become wet all the time. So those have been repaired. We've spent quite a bit of time repairing issues that the park had, and we really are quite excited about opening the park, and I know a lot of people are quite excited about opening the park. Any questions on what I've said so far?
Nope.
Okay.
The other thing that needs to be added is that we intend to bury the electric, so there won't be any electric lines on top.
Okay.
By burying the electric, this way we can run it to the stage,
To both stages,
to both stages, right?
without having to deal with extension cords. The
Now,
park itself is
again,
really-
what you're saying tonight, again, we hear what you're saying tonight, but we want whatever you're saying in writing as well, for us to approve that.
It would be really helpful, maybe I don't remember things too well, but if we had a brief letter just explaining what was gonna be done, just bullet points, if we're doing this, 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 and this. It'd be much easier for me to say, great. For example, when you said, oh, you have to approve the fencing, well, no, but our new comprehensive plan states, and I don't think you do this, you can't have the privacy slats and the chain link fence, so that's the type of thing I just assume tell you before you put in a fence, then after you put it in and we go, oh, that's not something we like. I mean, it's gonna be chain link, that's fine, but I just think we'd make a much better decision, and I don't think it would hold you up if you just get us a laundry list of, I don't know how everybody else feels, but just a simple laundry list of what you're presenting tonight.
Exactly what you're saying tonight, you have a map here, but if it's the bullet points identifying each thing that you're doing, there's a record of it, and in the town board, it's done and approved. I'm not trying to be a stickler, but the lease basically said any types of changes you make to notify the board. We want this to be as successful as you want it to be, probably even more. That's when I first came to Jim and offered through the comprehensive plan that the village had no park, no recreation facilities, within a perfect location, and you're doing exactly, and actually more than what I'd hoped you would even do. It's just that the record shows that we need to know what's being done. You're telling us in words, but words sometimes, we have something in writing, and it's not happening. So we want the writing and the written word to be identical to have.
Well, I tell you, I understand exactly what you're saying. We also, and we will work on that, but we also have a donor that is providing all of this material, all of this time, and his time is very valuable, and I'm not sure if you're saying we're coming back for another.
No, we're saying,
night.
what I'm asking you to do tonight,
Okay.
and then again, my board can override that, but I mean, we have a lease. The lease says that you would provide us in writing, which you're telling us tonight, you have something here that's kind of in writing, but I
Yes.
would just like to see something in writing like this, identifying what you just said. And provide
Okay,
that.
I can point out, we'll get you a larger copy, but
Okay,
everything
but,
that I mentioned tonight is actually
no,
written
you're gonna
in the
bury
notes.
the utilities. I mean,
They're
the
there.
area
It's
where you're
actually
gonna
there
bury
too.
utilities, I don't believe there's anything ever there, because it used to be something other than that, so we know there's no buried utilities. And of
Right.
course, before you call before you dig,
Well,
type
that's
in,
easy.
whatever. We just need to know, all the changes that you're making are very beneficial to the town, because in 25 years, hopefully we extended 25 years thereafter. We just need to know what's going on. You know, when we get phone calls here at the town, you know, there's heavy equipment being used down there, they're moving
Well,
buildings.
you know, and we understand that, and you'll get the bullet points, but it's just like, we're trying to do something here. We had somebody call the DEC police today on us. The
Wasn't
DEC
me, I get blamed for everything else, I did not make that call.
But,
No,
but
it's not.
the thing was that, you know, the DEC police show up, and they questioned what we were doing, and they looked at the site, they saw everything, they said, you're fine.
Good.
Good, you're good.
Yeah, we're
You
grateful.
know, who called? A concerned citizen. It amazes me that we're trying to do something, and there's people out there that just want to stop it.
And I'm getting blamed for most of it. And I'll tell you what, I have nothing to do with it. I did get a call that the structures were being moved. I had a problem with that because we kept 3 structures for a purpose. I've already looked through where you're proposing.
Well, we're
to move them.
on the structure part now.
Yeah.
The yellow building has to be moved.
If you actually take a look at the second picture again, that yellow building is exactly, well, it's not exactly in the middle, but it's in the way of where we would be able to accommodate the handicap. So that roadway and that area will be where people in wheelchairs, where people that have mobility issues would be watching our movies at night. So we do need to move the yellow trailer.
So we looked to see where we could move that in that park. There's no place that we can put it except for the place that you don't want it. If you look on one of the,
If you actually go to the second page right here,
Yeah.
this is the spot that we've prepared for the yellow trailer. And Mr. Hay, you came out and your biggest concern was
Accessibility.
accessibility by truck. So we believe we've solved this problem.
so if you go to the next page, you'll see that the building is there. Our proposal is that you let us put a door in so that you will have access to it with a truck.
So a truck can back right up to that door and have the same amount of access that they would have at any point in the park.
Okay, your plan is missing 2 things that you need to show. On the left-hand side of the building, going toward the green building, I need to know the distance between that building and the proposed building.
What would you say?
Well, don't guess, you just provide it to
Oh, I
us.
know what it is.
How many?
What's between here and here?
Oh, that's gonna be on that angle, it's gonna be very close to the green building. The axis is gonna be between the stone wall and where we're gonna move the building.
Okay, let me answer my first question. On the green building to the building there, approximately what is the distance?
From the new proposal.
It doesn't run parallel, it runs on an angle, so I
Okay.
can't give you exact distance.
Okay,
So
see, that's why we have
that-
that, here, that's one reason I have that writing. Here's the green building, here's the point of the green building to this here, whatever.
It's not gonna be any distance, it's gonna be close as possible, so we can give you the most room to get in where the doors are.
Okay.
The doors will be facing the wall.
So, we're talking a foot?
Yes.
It may be a foot, but it also increases because, as he said, the building is on an angle.
Okay, well,
So
this,
it could be as
the way
much
it's drawn here,
as,
it doesn't look like, so, okay, so on the opposite side, how much room is on that side?
4 feet,
How many?
4 feet,
4 feet on the right-hand side?
yes.
Yes.
It's just the way that it's drawn. That's why we came up with a great idea. We could put a man door, we could put a garage door, whatever you need to get into. And I personally carried all the stuff out of the building that's there already, and we carried everything in. There's plenty of room. And if you have trouble, call me up, I'll do it personally for you.
So
Four feet, how wide is the average small truck? Is it more than 4
Tony,
feet?
you're
No,
missing
you're
the point.
missing it. We want to put a
We're gonna add
garage
it
door
to
on
it.
the
If you
front.
look, turn to the, I'm sorry, you turn to the page, are you looking at the page with the drawn in building?
You're gonna put it here.
We're gonna put a door right on the end,
Put a
so you
garage
could
door.
back your truck here.
Okay. Well, that's,
We
Right.
could double doors if you
We
needed
can
it.
put a garage door, a regular door, whatever kind of door you want, so that this way, this will be item 4, so that they can back the truck up and they can get into the building.
and where is the second door to come out of the building?
You have, the
There are
other 2 doors
two
will be
other
on the
doors.
You're
stone
gonna leave
side,
those there,
will be 3
Yeah,
feet
because they
away.
don't show on the plan.
Right.
Okay, so you're gonna leave those doors there and put another one in front.
Right.
Yes.
And if it's more suitable for you, we'll have a garage door or a double door, whatever, a barn door, whatever we need to put there.
See, the buildings themselves are in a slight state of disrepair. Actually, when you walk around in the yellow building, the floor is soft. So we're trying to build a very nice park, leaving
Tom, it's
that.
not,
Or
But
the
what
other,
I'm saying is, we have a pad in place. We've solved the accessibility problem because we're gonna put a door on the end of it for you.
or one of the other things was that we take the building completely off the property and put it wherever you like.
I mean, what I'd like to say is, the town abandoned this park 2 years ago. It was overrun, nothing's been going on there. We leased it to you guys, you're working like crazy to get it open. I know you're under a lot of pressure from families and people. I've seen the Facebook page, Friends of Wells Park, everyone wants to know when it's open. I don't want to slow the progress down, I don't think it's necessary, and I know it's in the lease, but maybe we should change it. I don't think we should be micromanaging the park and what you're doing. You got a developer who's doing it on his own time, and, you know, you want to do it and get it done quickly, and it's gonna be beautiful, it's gonna benefit the village and the town. I think the best thing to do is get these storage sheds out of the park, let the village run the park. I mean, if they could be moved up to Pump House Road, there's plenty of room up there. That way, you know, I mean, you know, if the building wasn't moved, there would be no handicap accessibility.
Bob, I have to disagree in that I don't think protecting our assets is at all micromanaging. I would disagree with that.
Well, I mean, as far as where sheds are and stuff, I mean, this is gonna be nicer than it has.
I know,
And
but-
we haven't, for 2 years, we haven't done anything with it.
Right,
Yeah.
but
and if
we've used it for the 2 years for storage, and that's the only thing we're losing, that's the only thing that's.
But we only have football equipment.
There-
I mean, we could,
You
that's,
don't-
but why can't we move, if they can get it moved up to Pump House Road on a town property, then I think that's the way to go.
You have to understand, today is today, and tomorrow is the future. This is a 25-year lease.
Right.
One of the biggest problems with this town is the short-sightedness of what happens in the future.
But I don't think
I
these
want-
sheds are gonna, because I've seen them, I don't think they're gonna last 25
Yeah,
years,
if
because
I
they're
may-
falling
If
apart.
I may, in 25 years, you see, well,
Well, especially if we can't get in between them to paint them.
Yeah, well, it's also is the wood, but that,
There's
why can't we
enough-
just get them
there's
moved and bring them up
enough
to Pump House Road?
that's not an issue.
Do you have any
I mean,
idea what you're saying?
Foot,
What's that?
I know what you're
There's
saying,
only a
you have any
I have
idea
this
what
roll that I painted between the
Yeah, if they
radiators
can
and
get
my
a
house
move,
with, it's this
I
far.
think that's the way to go. I
I mean, right
mean,
now, is everyone, are you satisfied where having these buildings where they're gonna be relocated? So you would be
To be honest
satisfied
with
with
you-
relocating the buildings where they are?
To be honest with you, we would be satisfied if we were able to move them to where we would like to. It
Where
would
would
be
that
the
be?
best experience, and that we would be the happiest if you would say, we could use this building at our Public Works Department, we could use this building there, and our donor has agreed to pick them up and bring them wherever you want.
The one building that was moved last, I think it was last Thursday.
Which color?
It's the red one.
The red one.
Yeah.
That one was up next to the yellow one, and it was moved down there, and that's when Tony came down and we talked. And it was decided at that point, fine, the village will take this building, and we would switch buildings with the town, and you would take the one, I think it's building 2, or whatever it is, next to where the spray park is. That was, okay, that's fine, it's building for building, it was an even swap. The question became the yellow building, and we looked at other places in the park to put the yellow building. There's no place to put it where it's either not gonna stand out like a sore thumb, or it's just ugly, it's an ugly building. And the question became, fine, if we can put it where we originally wanted to put it, and put a garage door there,
Right.
you have access like you need, because the thing was, once this park is done, we don't have trucks coming in here, driving on grass, that's over. This is a driveway here, this is an item 4 road, that if they need to back up, they can back up to the door, in and out, whatever they have to do, and that's it.
Tony, what's stored there now? What's stored?
There's nothing in it.
There
There's
Only one
a
building
couple of
has
things in it.
football.
Right now, football.
No, the football equipment's at the top.
Football equipment is in which
The
building?
building 5, which is at the top, that one's
The red
staying.
one or the
And
yellow?
that's
The blue one.
The blue one.
The blue one is at the top.
So right now, the yellow one isn't doing, it's empty.
They're all.
The other one has basketball nets in it.
If you look, the yellow one.
So my question is that
This is-
what
this
you're
is-
proposing now, where to put these buildings, the yellow with the garage door and all that, to you, that's where they have to go?
Yes.
If it's gonna stay in the park, that's where.
And
That's
then in the
the least
meantime,
offensive place.
you would commit to, and when I say you, obviously, I mean the village, would commit then, perhaps that's what we can do, commit to doing things like maintenance or painting. I mean, I think the idea with the garage door or the regular door or whatever we're talking about is a good one, since apparently we haven't used this building in 2 years. Is that accurate, Tony?
Accurate.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's why when, again, this is, you have to understand, this is a 25-year
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, but right now, we're in the here and now, and
So in
the
10 years, we'll be
anticipation.
back here because you're gonna have to replace these buildings
Right.
anyway.
Well, my thinking though is that if you commit to do things like the painting, Lynn has brought up the painting, so there's about 3 or 4, whatever, foot in between. If you think that's something that can be done and maintained, then that's fine. Because,
Yeah.
right now, I don't envision this building, which sounds like it isn't in great shape. Well, I'm not a person that knows what I'm talking about, that much about this, but it sounds like this building might not move well.
They weren't designed to be moved.
Right, so my thinking is, if it's moved to that location, there's a garage door or whatever door on the end. We haven't been using it, now it's relocated to a better area. I certainly wouldn't have a problem.
And you're right, Liz, because what's gonna happen eventually is when we're all gone and the park is still there.
Holy cow,
And you know what?
I'm feeling mortal right now.
And, you know, if the building needs to be painted, I'm sure at that point, are they gonna come back? 10 years from now, 15 years from now, nobody's even gonna remember this lease. And whoever's there is probably gonna think that's part of the village park, and it's gonna be taken care of. The one building that Tony saw up there, where the football equipment is, that roof is ready to collapse.
Yes. And I think Tony had mentioned that you guys were gonna put a new roof on it.
Yes, we are.
So it's just, they are maintenance buildings, and, I don't even think these buildings were designed to have sheet rock on the inside of them.
No.
And they have sheet rock.
Yeah, these are portable sheds. These are prefab sheds that you order and they come on a trailer and they slide them off and they drop them on a pad that you create. I mean, these are built to be moved, but it just hasn't been maintained, and that's what happens with age.
I mean, I know that there's a lot of people who are excited about this park. And
I-
excited about making it into something that's really nice, and once again, like what Bob said, it's to the benefit of the village and the town. So, Tony, I mean, we have a resolution here that's gonna, that you authorize to execute an amendment which will authorize the relocation of certain structures and swap, et cetera. You know, obviously, I mean, I'm gonna be for the resolution and also for this swap and the movement of the buildings, because I know we have 25 years, but, you know, maybe we don't have 25 years. And a lot of these people around here, I'd like to encourage our residents to enjoy the village and enjoy the town. You're trying to do a revitalization, which who the heck knows, it might be. But to me, it's a great step in the right direction. It'd be nice to have a lot of happy people, you know, thinking positive.
And this is here and this is now, and the work is available to us. And we have to take advantage of it, and we have to do it quickly.
Okay, here's the thing that really is troubling to me. You know, when I was down here, I heard rumors that I was snooping around, okay? Was I snooping? I guess I was. I mean, I got a report from one of our people that they were moving buildings. It's a 25-year lease. We want to forget all about that? We are here tonight discussing this because, did I snoop around? Whatever it was. We would not have known this. We would have gone down there one day to put something in the structures. They would have been all moved, and we wouldn't have known anything about it. And that's what this is about. Not all the great things that's happening, that's great. Believe me, I'm more happy for them than anyone because I can envision what they're trying to do. Yet, I'm the bad guy, which I don't have a problem because the supervisor is always the bad guy. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is, you gotta think long range, okay? And 25 years is a long time. This town has no storage facilities, and that's why we kept them. We gave everything else except for those buildings. Now, when I first got here, I heard a report that they wanted to put a structure on the back of here for $250,000, okay? We have a structure in the village of Brewster, it used to be the old courthouse, and we were let the library use it to store books. Well, they were paying us nothing, and I had to move them because we needed it for our court space. All of our court records are now stored there. So if nothing else, we saved $250,000. We needed whatever. I have no problem in a sense what they're proposing. The only thing is, we need to know what they're doing. Will, do you want to chime in on any of this?
Just what the lease provided. I mean, it requires that whenever there's a plan to do anything, that you request and get in advance, in each instance, the approval of the town board.
And that's what we're basically doing here tonight. Everyone's making all these, whatever they're saying, we're doing exactly what should have been done weeks ago.
Okay,
There's no-
but fundamentally, let's set aside the snooping, the whatever. I like to look for solutions, not to place blame.
Well, that's what we're doing here. Tonight, this
Exactly.
is the solution.
And the solution is what I just discussed, I believe, which is if now what the village is proposing is to have this building relocated with I think it's gonna end up being a garage door, I keep on saying a garage door. On that one side, there is enough room on the other side near the wall to maintain whatever. So it's done. We still have our storage building that is apparently not in the greatest of shape. So you still have the storage building, you still can store in the building. Haven't stored anything in there apparently for a while, but notwithstanding, we have a solution. And obviously, the village individual, the people who are involved know, hey, so you gotta keep us in the loop. It's legally what you have to do. You're gonna provide us with your bullet points. Here's what we're doing, amplifying, see this, whatever. Invite us up there, let's all go look at what's going to happen, and that's it. I mean, I just wanna move forward.
We are.
That's what I want.
Where are we not moving forward? We're
Well, I
moving
just don't
forward.
wanna,
I do want it in writing. We need to know what's being proposed, so if they don't, we just had another public hearing on something where a person was asked to do something, and evidently he's not quite doing it by what they said they're gonna do. I mean, they could, whatever, who knows? I mean, they may want to take out the spray park at some point in time. They might, if they want to do something, all they have to do is come to the town and ask or tell us what they propose to do, so we know.
there you go. So now you told us, so now all it is bring the bullet points to us. I, for one, am going to say yes for this resolution.
And I plan to say yes as well.
Right, and then in the meantime, what we do is we move on that. You have village council, Mr. Molay contact Mr. Stevens, and let's do it.
But the question becomes, back to the shed. Is it okay if the shed is moved over to that location?
Evidently, you've heard tonight, yes.
Okay.
I have a question though, because I really don't have any idea of the answer. In case of fire, is it easy to get to all three buildings? I'm not saying people are in them.
You're actually
Yes.
adding egress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's egress. The doors that are in the front will be on this side, so there'll be about 4 feet between here and this.
Yeah, and I'm worried more about the fire trucks, so they could get in
Through this side.
They'll actually have a road they can get up to before.
to the red one building too?
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
and before we got there, when we got there, you couldn't get anything up to these things.
It was
It was so
in
overgrown.
poor shape.
Taking out all those invasives while you're doing this?
So go back to the bullet points, again, he'll put in, the other thing that we have to change is the bathrooms, we have to make them ADA compliant. So he'll put that in there also, all right? These are things that, you know, are obvious, but if you want them in the bullet point, we'll put them in the bullet.
Yeah, just because.
All right?
It's not because of anyone being in particular, it's just that it's something we've all agreed to, just as long as we know.
20
It's not a
years-
problem.
20,
They're
25
making
years from
houses out of
now,
molehills.
when they're asking about the lease from Wells Park, somebody's gonna say, what?
No, if I'm still alive, I will remember. I won't be here, but I'll be out there.
Are you sure you didn't call DEC on us today?
No, I did not call the, I don't know anyone at DEC. I didn't even call
You
the
can check my
DEC.
phone records too, I was really
Yeah.
very busy today. But I think I have an idea who it might be.
But-
I do have someone who, a village resident who's asked me and asked about the DEC.
I think if it's the same resident, I think they've called us many times, they want to rent the park.
No, this is different though.
They wanted to know why we're taking dead trees down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
That tree that hung over their road, that
Okay.
shocked me, didn't take any cars out.
I think this is gonna be wonderful in this whole thing.
Yes.
Oh, more than welcome, come down, give me a couple more weeks to, get everything nice and pretty,
All right,
and you can really see what it's looking like.
should we send that, I'll have Tom send this out to the whole board then?
When you send it to me, like I said earlier this evening, if you send something to me, it goes to the entire board. You send the the entire board gets it, including me. So you can't get around me and they don't miss out.
Okay, just wanna make sure everybody
And
gets it.
and at what point will you sign off on that and
We're
send it
signing
back to
off, we're
us?
basically,
You're signing off
you're
on
here
it.
in this
You're
evening.
pre-signing off.
You're telling us what it is, and we'll look at all the bullet points, go back to the video, verify them, because they're in front of us tonight, we can check them off, but that's
Okay,
what we do.
thank you. Very
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
On the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passing the resolution. Okay, I think we need a second for discussion.
Well, we didn't really,
We did?
no.
Okay, someone wants a second for discussion?
I did, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And on the third whereas, park should be park, P-A-R-K. Got it?
I don't think I have it.
But don't you have? It's R5.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
I have R8 and that's, and then.
okay, here you go, mine.
That's-
I have it in the computer. Okay. And that's, the approval was with the modification, okay, to change the park to park. Okay? Number 6, resolution, audit of the Justice Court records. Resolved that the town clerk is directed to enter a copy of this resolution into the minutes of the meeting and forward certified copy of this resolution together with a copy of the report dated June 9, 2015, to the Chief Internal Auditor, New York State Office of Court Administration, 98 Niver Street, Cohoes, New York, 12047. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Southeast hereby accepts the report and examination of the Town of Southeast Justice Courts for the period ending December 31, 2014, and certifies that the requirements of Section 2019A of the Uniform Justice Court Act have been fulfilled. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Supervisor's financial report. Lynn, again, this is your favorite subject. We're basically on target. It is now June. Nothing is standing out like a sore thumb at this point in time, and hopefully with the budget we prepared, we won't have that happen. And other than that, there's not much to talk about. In the old days, it's much better, but they didn't talk. But now we can and we don't. So I can't add more than that to that. Okay, next. A resolution to appoint independent counsel. I thought we had on file, Mr. Joe DiPaoli has always acted somewhat on many of our cases as independent counsel. And I was made aware when I discussed it with the town attorney that we should go on record on this particular one and to verify it, because each time we do it, we should identify what. So now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of Town Southeast hereby appoints Joseph P. DiPaoli, Esquire, DiPaoli Valdez LLP, having an office at 370 Lexington Avenue, Suite 1500, New York, 10017, as special counsel, town prosecutor, and authorizes him to fully investigate alleged violations of state and local codes, statutes, laws, and regulations concerning the owners and properties known as 1, 3, 5, and 7 Shady Lane, and persons associated therewith, to advise the building department and code enforcement officers accordingly, and to recommence or continue such criminal and/or civil proceedings as might be necessary to secure the full, fair, and equal enforcement of the laws in connection therewith, and be further resolved that the special town council shall be compensated at a rate of $165 per hour for attorney time, and shall be reimbursed for all necessary services made on behalf of the town. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion.
I would just change, I think it says it fully investigation, and I think the word should be investigate.
Investigates?
Yeah.
Yes. Would the seconder agree? Who was the seconder?
Me.
Okay, agree with that change?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
With that, public comment. Yes, please. 2 times in one night, charge after the third.
John Lord, a resident. Wanted to know, there was talk at one time about solar panels going on the old landfill.
Well, we just discussed that
The
today.
question was this morning.
Yes.
Okay,
The
I just-
solar panels are in the works. We're going, even though the town is not required to go through, we have to go through secret, but we don't have to go in front of any of the boards. And this town board wants to be open up with everything that they do. So it's in front of the ARB. There's no need for the ZBA and the planning board. It's going under full review. And based on our conversation today, they're really trying to get in before year's end.
Okay.
The type of panels that they're putting up, it's not the type, because it's on the landfill, they can't, penetrate the membrane, so to
Right.
speak. And we were told that it's gonna be like, when you go by cones on the highways and stuff like that, they're weighted down. There'll be something similar to that.
Okay.
We're gonna save well over $1 million plus over the 20-year period of time. One of the reasons we went with the company we went with, they were gonna fence in the entire area because our landfill's been, racked with people using and abusing it.
Right.
And I'm glad you asked, because today was really
We had a good meeting with them.
a good update.
And are they going to be putting in transmission lines to
Well, when you
someplace?
say there'll be electrical lines, we have to believe, go over the MTA lines, because we have the 3-phase that is required, they don't have. The MTA line by the railroad tracks does, so they're in the process now, work with the MTA and ISAC to do that. And if for some reason that fails, then the single-phase line will have to be converted to a 3-phase line, and that would become more costly, but that would have to be done, hopefully, at the expense of Solar City, who won the bid.
Thanks.
Thank you. Town board members?
Me.
Wow.
I think this was a very compact meeting, so. I
Okay.
don't know that, we should, remind everyone about the fireworks.
July 3rd, Independence Way. The fireworks will be taking off around 9 o'clock. We'll get there early, 6:37, there'll be a band there. This year Putnam County is also going to have the trolley that's in Cold Spring, that's going to come over. And if anyone wants to take the train, for me to, well, I can take it from anywhere, but if from the village of Brewster or maybe Patterson, there will be the free trolley that will run you up the hill to Chico's parking lot there, where most of the activities of the band will be. So, looking forward to it. July 3rd. It's
July 3rd, not July 4th.
Not July 4th, day before, July 3rd, Friday.
So everyone, come on out.
Come on out. And we can still use money. If anyone wants to donate, send a check, Town of Southeast. Just put fireworks on the memo, or you can use PayPal. southeastny@gmail.com. It goes directly into the account.
Very good.
I'll entertain a motion?
I'll second.
No,
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 I'll make the
I don't
motion.
leave, I want to work them. So
I'm-
you're
I'll
making
make the
a motion
motion
to go
that
home?
we go home.
Okay.
And close the meeting, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.